You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in, because in this video we're going to take a close look at the Retro Game Edition, the HD with Famicom, Super Famicom, Mega Drive, Game Boy Advance and Classic Game, the Retro Game System. But this doesn't make any sense if you ask me, because there is no real name. It says here Classic, and here it says like Classic Game Console, and that's the weird thing with these, let's say, Retro Game Edition NES clone devices. No idea what you're going to get, and after all those years doing reviews, you're still like finding new versions. This is using a 5V with a micro USB for the charging or the adapter, an HDMI. So we do also have like an AV out, so that's pretty cool. So you do have like this dual option. So I must say, like, the first impression is that this thing looks quite interesting and quite weird at the same time. Okay, so the controller is just a 4-button, so I'm more like, alright, help me out with this one, because how will this work with Mega Drive? Oh wait, it don't. It doesn't. Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. So, yeah. You know, like, they're trying, but so far I know there is no way of adding a new controller, because even they have like an original controller ports, you have a problem that let's say a different controller with the same connection will not work on this device. So this is what we're going to get, of course. Hey, they give me like an adapter this time, cool. And then we do have like the user manual, yep. So it's going to be the toilet paper deluxe. Oh, here we do have like this thing called the HD Retro Game, and the type is the EMX, the 033. Alright, so this is like a really pointless manual. There's nothing much in it, and it's even filthy. Ugh. But when you're looking at the device itself, it has a very interesting, let's say, form factor. Yeah, it looks like a NES Mini Classic, but it isn't. We're going to get two controller ports. I think they're like upside down over here, port 1 and port number 2. Then we do have like the reset button over here, and here we're going to get the on and off switch. And at the back we're going to get this weird looking, let's say, white, I think it's a sticker that they basically put over the connections. But we're going to get a micro USB, AV out, an HDMI out, and we do have like a TF card, I love to say it, but there's a micro SD card. And this thing is, yeah, seriously like 512 megabyte. So I take a close look at the menu. I must say, like, let's first boot it up. It's going to be quite interesting. We're going to get ourselves the same boot up like the X series handheld. Think about the X6, the X16. And yeah, another weird thing is, like, you can see like it switches from the NES, and out of nothing it switches to a second menu over here. But what are we going to get? So we do have like NES, Super Famicom. And again, Super Famicom, it's pointless because we're only having like 4 buttons on the controller. System settings, Mega Drive, Game Boy Advance. We're just going to test it out, and oh yeah, this is absolutely the same kind of quality and software. Oh boy, I can tell you that is not a good thing, simply because, oh man, what the hell, effect settings, language, adjust screen offset. Okay, so that's basically what we're going to get. Let's see if we can change this out. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, it seems to be I cannot set the other one. That's whatever. So let's try NES. Let's see what we're going to get. Are we going to get a typical like menu? Alright, so that's it. That's the main menu. There is no aspect ratio whatsoever. So let's try some games and let's see how good or bad the emulation is. Before we're going to boot up a game, you do have the option to load the progress, and we have settings over here. Here we do have the option to have a different screen size. But let's put it on scale, oh no, wait, it is original size. That's the thing that we need to choose. So let's see what happens when we're going to restart the game. Yeah, alright, so I'm hoping select and start bring me back to the option, settings, scale. Let's see what happens when we're doing to do that. And return the game. Ah, there we have it. We do have aspect ratio with this. So, but when it comes to the gameplay of the NES, it seems to be working just fine. I don't see any weird screen tearing whatsoever, or I'm just missing it. Alright, so I think I can manage to play this game, because I only need to have the jumping and the punching. I did have some slowdowns, but... it's pretty damn cool. We have like aspect ratio on every single game and system. I messed up. Absolutely. Alright, so let's try some Sega Genesis. It seems to be that it runs pretty damn good. Don't hear any weird things going on with audio. So it's really surprising that it actually works. Maybe the same for Genesis. We can play a couple of games, because we don't need all the freaking buttons, but it's pretty damn cool that we can even play this, but beside that, you cannot play every single game. Alright, so let's take a close look at some GBA. So far, I am surprised. Seems to be working just fine. I personally really love the controller. Like, the D-pad is absolutely amazing. But for GBA we do have, let's say, enough buttons. If they map them correctly, that's a different story, but... Alright, so it is cool that you can even add some Game Boy Color to this. But still, I wonder, is it possible to basically plug in a Mega Drive controller to begin with? Alright, you can plug it in, but it doesn't do anything. I will give you an examples, like there's no way to going back to the main menu and nothing seems to be working. So we're stuck with the fake ones. Can't get it out. Alright, so we're not going to open this one up, but what we're going to do, open up the Famicom. Yep. Alright, so we do have like rubber feet underneath. Sometimes they're using the foam ones. I'm just curious what's inside, because I must say that I was surprised to see how good emulation is in general. Yeah, the downside is that we do have limitations when it comes to the controller. So I wish I didn't do that, but okay. Alright, let's loosen up the screws. And let's take a close look at what this thing is running on. Sometimes we even find rock chips in these things, depending of course what it can play. They said something about a classic game, but it's clearly they don't mention the arcade, because that is something this thing doesn't support. Alright, let's remove the final screw. Alright. And alright, that's the last one. My Phillips screwdriver doesn't fit perfectly, but it doesn't matter. I open it up. Alright, so the top part we're not going to see anything interesting. Alright, so let's see what we're going to get in here. So here we do like the connectors. The way how they made it is quite interesting. We've seen it before, so basically this is the front PCB where we have like two micro switches. One for the reset front, one for the on and off. Then you have like the ports are soldered straight onto this. We do have like this interesting big piece of plastic, chunk of plastic that gives this thing basically like distance or space, or basically like a spacer, how you want to call this. The ribbon cable goes from this big PCB where everything is connected to the main board over here. So this thing has the G1005 chip inside, also called the ZC52FBA or something like that. Yeah, FBB, whatever. Doesn't make any, let's say, sense to me. We do have like Windbone chip over here, and here have we the Unix, or Hynix, how you pronounce this. But specification wise, these are like really low power chips, because yeah, let's be honest, there's nothing much it needs to play. Nowadays, NES can be played on a freaking potato, huh? So the date when it was created is another interesting story. Here you can see this thing is version number 2, but it's made in 2019. So even they present it like brand new product, it's already a couple of years old.